Okay, so today I'm going to show you guys how, excuse me, how to take your Inductrix FPV. And yes, I know this is the Blade's kind of bid to do your the tiny whoop. I'm going to show you how to take off the little. Oh, here, look at this little thing. It's a little. It comes with this little tiny whip antenna. Usually sticks out like right here, and it just, I don't know. Yeah, it's good for if you're starting out in FPV. It's fine, but it could be done so much better. And we all know this. I mean, here, this is my Inductrix FPV. I had to stick a different frame on it because the original frame started to crack. And if you look, it's got that circular polarized antenna. I mean, seriously. And it's that little VA or VX 1100 model. It's a nice tiny little camera thing. And really, something similar, very, very similar to this camera is in this Inductrix FPV. Which, originally when I looked at it, and I flew it with that little whip antenna, it worked, but just not very well. One of the places I fly a lot is kind of a semi-abandoned industrial building, so it multipaths like crazy, and it's just not very fun. Signal breaks up a lot. So I took it apart thinking, okay, how can I make this better? And I found that I could put this nice little circular polarized antenna on here. So, well, let's show you guys how to do this. It's very simple. All you need is like a soldering iron, like a little X-Acto knife, or like a box cutter or something, and some wire, some coaxial cable. The coaxial cable you can get, if you can't find any, just look for some old RCA video cables. A lot of those are coaxial. They're not necessarily meant for RF stuff, but they work pretty well, actually. I've used them quite a bit. And then, some nice wire. And then you can look on like RC groups. IB Crazy has a thread on how to make these. RCExplore.se also has a very good instructional video on it. That's David Windestål, I think is how you pronounce his name. He's from Sweden. He's a very, very neat guy. But yeah, so let's get into showing you guys how to do this. Okay, so in order to, well, like, as I said earlier, these Inductrix FPVs, they come with these little like whip antenna aerials. They multipath like crazy. They're junk. What you really want is something like on these VX 1100s, I think is the part number on these. They come with like a lot of people who've done the tiny whoop have put these on. They're nice. They're awesome. I love these things. They're so small, they weigh practically nothing. Throw them on pretty much anything. But as I said, the Inductrix FPV comes with a whip aerial. Junk. Just multi-paths. It doesn't work very well. And I mean, everything nowadays, I mean, look, these come with the circular polarized clover leaf antenna or skew planar. I don't know. But even these Fat Sharks, like, okay, if I open up these Fat Shark goggles on here, you can see that's a skew planar cloverleaf design in there. Yeah, it's covered, but So, how do you stick one of those on this Inductrix FPV? You gotta unscrew it, and usually you guys have probably seen these before. There's a back part on this case. So when you pull it out, I would recommend unplugging this. I already did. One other thing I would highly recommend, just out of, because I mean, especially on this lead, use like some E6000 or some like rubberized glue or something that stays nice and flexible, and just kind of dab it on where these wires meet the plug on all of these. because I did it on my Nano QX FPV, and it really extends the life of these plugs. I've had other ones just they just break after a few, and it just really improves this a little bit. I wish they would put like the silicone glue on there from the factory, but you know, it's a simple enough fix. You can go to like Menards or, you know, your local hardware store and usually pick up E6000 or some kind of material like that. Another thing I saw on these is your little signal, your control wire right here is right along here, and it's touching like every other circuit exposed component there. I hate that. And it was curled at the tip. Yeah, this one here is too, but I simply just rerouted it. It's kind of hard to see, but just reroute it around this one of the front fans, usually your front one here. You get your little arrow pointing forward. I usually route it over here. It improves your signal, and it just improves the overall fun and enjoyment of this. But now let's get on to this. This is your video backpack thing. I already put the circular polarized antenna. I didn't think I was going to make a video, but I figured, you know, there's got to be a whole lot of other people who are looking to do this kind of stuff, and you know, it's I feel like it's something I should show. You know, I'm not necessarily an expert in this, but as some people would say, you know enough. You know, and I know enough to be able to say, hey, this could be better. And really, Blade, it just pains me to see this. See that comes with that little whip antenna. It just, I don't like it too much. So yeah, usually, let me zoom in here. And do some focusing. If you look, where is it? Wow, that's almost too close for my camera. Anyway, okay, so yeah, my autofocus isn't exactly working today for some reason. I don't understand. I'm not necessarily a film guy, but you know, just figured I got some nice lighting over on each side, you know. So I hope my lighting is at least good, decent. So I'm just gonna kind of keep this on my focus here. Use this screwdriver as a pointer. So if you look, it's kind of hard to see, but you'll be able to see on yours. There's these pads. The whip antenna is on the center pad. Comes with that like silicone glue stuff, and on either side of it are these other pads. And those pads, well, you can see a little bit better here. Yeah, way better. So this center one is your active element of your antenna. I think that's the right term. And then on either side is your ground or your ground plane. Again, I think those are the right terms. Let me know. I'm always more than willing to learn. So yeah, desolder the whip antenna. Yes, I know a lot of people get this because they don't want to solder and all that, but soldering is a great skill to have in this hobby. It really helps. So you take just like a piece of coaxial cable. I make my own antennas for my other FPV stuff. So obviously not my Fat Shark stuff, but I do have an extra antenna for that. So this here you can kind of see. That's your little coaxial cable in there. And really that's just a shave off of something else. So yeah. Then you just, the centerpiece is your active element. Solder that to that center piece, and then you can go on either side and solder your ground plane there. Well, actually, I'd recommend soldering this up first. rcexplorer.se has a good video on this. It's old, and I think it's for a different frequency, but the thing still fits. You can also download off of like Thingiverse, like one of these little things. It's, you know, you stick your wire in this hole, wrap it around, and then clip it here. And then that's your former. And then there's also like this. This is a 3-pedal design. Well, actually, I should probably show the 4-pedal because that's a better color. Just showing this. So your antenna sticks through the middle. Like the helping hands, like 2 alligator clips. That's highly recommended. So, and then you kind of use, like, I use electrical tape or just like Scotch tape to tape it down, line it up, you know, pre-tin everything, and then just kind of dab, and it should all connect fairly easily. You probably need a little bit more solder, but another thing, use leaded solder. I know a lot of people, you know, like environmentalists, oh my god, don't get me started. They hate it. It's lead, you know, lead's the bad 4-letter L word. But if you use the lead-free stuff, it's just crap. RC Model Reviews did a really good video on why that is. So I would recommend seeing, you know, looking on his channel for that. He does have I gotta say, that guy is very much more knowledgeable than I am. But, you know, I know just enough to be able to have fun in this hobby, and that's really what this hobby is about, having fun. So yeah, you solder up your nice clover leaf. It's focus there, and then, you know, you just solder it like I said. Your active or your center lead goes to that center pad. Just, you know, pre-tin, dab the solder on. You don't want to get too much of a glob on there. And then same on your ground, which is like the shielding on that coaxial cable. Again, use coaxial cable. You can get it either from like a surplus store or something like that. Just like, or if you have like old RCA video cables at home, a lot of those are actually coaxial, and those will work. I have tried those a few times. They do fairly decently for little stuff like this. So yeah. That's another thing. If you can't find, you know, actual RF coaxial cable, just find like an old RCA cable and, you know, try to make sure it has the coaxial. You know, they're cheap. A lot of audio video guys don't use them much anymore, so you can find them at like garage sales and stuff. So, you know, just chop them open and you should see kind of, well, coaxial. Yeah, and just solder that up, solder that to the pads. I did have to modify this back shell. Now, it's not professional looking by any means, but it's very functional. It allows for a little bit more cooling, I feel. So yeah, you just kind of shave off that back area. I'm gonna pull out. Just use my focus here. So then you just kind of, and this is, I'm still fairly young. I've got like a lot of people, I got big fingers. So handling these little screws is just a pain. One of my tips is either find like a magnetic screwdriver, or if you don't, just put this little screw there and kind of hold it in place with your pointer finger, just like that. And then find where you need to stick that in, line it up, your pointer finger should guide it right in, and then just kind of tighten it in there kind of nice. Don't over tighten. It's only plastic, you know, it can strip out. And this here, gotta reroute some of these. Sometimes these wires get in weird, and you know, it's okay. So, kind of in conclusion, I just did this. Cut this little notch here. Hold your little antenna nicely. Seriously, Blade, if you guys see this, please find a way to stick this antenna on there. It's so easy. I'm really surprised it wasn't on there. Great product, but it could use a little bit better antenna. Another tiny little thing on these another little tiny issue I have is these little spars. Go out to this outer duct. They break a lot. Like if you have just like on my old Inductrix, I broke these things like crazy, and I ended up using like E6000 and stuff to fix it. I tried super glue at first, but that just snapped right away. E6000 kind of nice, flexible. But Blade, if you could maybe go in your mold and I don't know, just like give this a little bit of a curve to kind of blend it in, just a little bit. I really think that would help the structural integrity on this. It's probably should be pretty easy. I by looking at this at the molded frame, you should just be able to almost maybe even take a Dremel with a small tip and just kind of, zip that out a little bit. I don't know. Might be that easy. Might not be. Again, I don't know the mold. Blade does. It would be nice if they saw it, if they did this. But yeah. Overall, I think I love this little thing. I know a lot of people are still probably going to be doing the tiny whoop, but I think this is a nice little conversion. And I figured I'd share it. Because really in this hobby, what fun is it if you're the only one, and I love this hobby. People have helped me out so much, and I want to start helping other people too. I admit I don't know everything, but this year really works. I love it. So yeah, if you guys like this, my YouTube is One Man Geek Squad. I had to spell the squad wrong. It's SQAUD. So yeah, just let me know if you guys like this, if you want more videos like this. Yeah, thanks. Have a nice day.